We are more than 7 months into the pandemic, and chances are you know someone who has been impacted by or even infected with the virus. As of Thursday's update, 1,380 Kentuckians have died after being diagnosed with COVID-19. More than 92,000 have tested positive since March 6th. Now, many of those diagnosed are either asymptomatic or have light symptoms and quickly recover. However, every day we learn more about those still battling the virus, some much longer than 14 days. Last week, we brought you the story of Stephen Woodson, the head coach of Washington County High School's basketball team. When first infected, he felt chills, then sweats, and after he tested positive, his symptoms progressed to shortness of breath. He's been in and out of the hospital 4 times this month, staying as long as 4 days during one of those visits. When we spoke with him this past Monday, he said he was feeling better. His message: don't be ashamed of your diagnosis, wear a mask, and help with contact tracing. Now we move from Washington County over to the Kentucky-Virginia border in Letcher County. That's where we found Amy and Donnie Sexton. They say sometime after returning home from Lexington, where he was undergoing cancer treatment, the couple began experiencing symptoms of COVID-19. They did test positive at the end of March, and Amy says that she missed several weeks of work as they recovered and quarantined. But more than 6 months later, they still feel effects of the virus.
To this day, we still have sort of cycling symptoms of shortness of breath, intense headaches, a lot of stomach issues, some dizziness, congestion, coughing, things like that. So eyes burning and watering. My husband still has problems with really extreme fatigue and drowsiness, and we're not sure if that's a complication from the cancer treatment or if that's a COVID-19 long-term symptom or if it's both.
We move now from Letcher County in eastern Kentucky all the way back here to Lexington. Now, you may remember seeing this video circulating on social media back in the spring. This is Sheila Thornsberry as she walked out of Baptist Health after battling COVID-19 for almost a month, including time on a ventilator.
After I came off the ventilator, I cried every day. And it was, when am I going to get to go home? When am I going to get to see my kids? And I was told by the physician that, one, I had to walk to get out of there. He wasn't letting me go unless I walked out of there. So I had the physical therapist come twice a day. I was like, you're going to get me walking. We're going to do this. And then the only way I would get to see my kids is if I had 2 negative tests before I left the hospital. And I did. I couldn't get to the end of that red carpet fast enough. My physical therapist, no one could see her telling me, but the whole time she's going, you got to slow down. You got to slow down. You're going to fall. I know you want to go fast, but you got to slow down a little bit.
And we were wondering how slow you were going to go because it seemed like you were moving in slow motion.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional for me.
6 months later, Sheila is doing much better after a lengthy recovery. She recently returned to work, no longer requires oxygen at night, and is able to enjoy walks with her husband. But even though the virus has passed, there are still lingering effects of COVID-19.
I lost pretty much all the muscle mass in my legs. So that's where, coming home on the walker and the therapy is definitely helped a lot. And the walking like we try to do of an evening, but like you said, on days like today, got 10 minutes away from home and I couldn't breathe and my heart was racing and we came back.
Most patients do recover from COVID-19, but almost every night since mid-March, the Capitol is lit green for those who do not. Nearly 1,400 Kentuckians have died after contracting the virus, and in 7 months, we've learned some of their stories and the lasting impact on their loved ones. We recently spent time with Keith Taylor, a Berea-based sports writer and newspaper publisher who lost his mother to COVID-19 this month. 68-year-old Donna Reed was hospitalized twice after her diagnosis in March, the second time for more than 1 month. No visitors were allowed during that time, and family members say she fought the battle alone, ultimately passing on October 5th. Earlier this week, Taylor penned a column titled "Trying to Make Sense of Living Nightmare." It begins, quote, "The past 2 weeks have been a blur, and it feels like I've been living a bad dream. As badly as I wish I just got out of bed, that's simply not true. The longest 2 weeks of my life have indeed been a reality after my mom lost her battle to COVID-19. Mom spent at least 5 weeks trying to fend off the virus and put up a courageous fight until the very end. That was Mom's character, and it was no surprise she kept battling and fighting. She even tried to pull out the ventilator hose that assisted her with breathing. At one point while sedated. Before our family was hit with the virus, I knew COVID was cruel, but you don't know how vicious it can be until someone you love, the one who brought you into this world, is attacked to the point of no return." End quote.